Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayet Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityaṁ bhāgavata-sevayā Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki. Vasudeva Paraveda, Vasudeva Paramakha, Vasudeva Parayoga, Vasudeva Parakriya, Vasudevam Param Jnanam, Vasudeva Parotapo, Vasudeva Parodharmo, Vasudeva Param Gatihi. Hare Kṛṣṇa, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Guruve Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim kripatamaham vande Shri Guru Dina Tarinam Paramananda Madhavam Śrī Caitanya-Ishvaram. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktarinda Granthera Arambha Kori Mangala Charana Guru Vaishnava Bhagavan Tinera Smarana Hoya Vigana Vinashana Anayasa Sapal Nija Vanchita Purana. Hare Krishna, thank you, dear worshipable devotees, for joining. We are reading Granth Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Canto 9, Chapter 18 today. So we read Chapter 17 last time, which was primarily about a lot of names were there in text Chapter 17. So now we move on to Chapter 18, which is King Yayāti regains his youth. So let's do a quick summary by Prabhupada for this. Anyone wants to read the summary of this chapter? Sampada, Mataji, you want to read?
Sure, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. King Yayāti regains his youth. This chapter gives the history of King Yayāti, the son of Nahusa. Among Yayātri's 5 sons, the youngest son Puru accepted Yayāti's invalidity. When Nahusa, who had 6 sons, was cursed to become a python, his eldest son Yati took sannyasa, and therefore the next son Yayāti was enthroned as king. By providence, Yayāti married a daughter of Sukracharya. Sukracharya was a Brahmana and Yayāti a Kshatriya, but Yayāti married her nonetheless. Sukracharya's daughter, named Devayani, had a girlfriend named Sarmistha, who was the daughter of Vrishaparva. King Yayāti married Sarmistha also. The history of this marriage is as follows. Once Sarmistha was sporting in the water with thousands of her girlfriends, and Devayani was also there. When the young girls saw Lord Shiva seated on his bull with Uma, they immediately dressed themselves, but Sarmistha mistakenly put on Devayani's clothes. Devayani, being very angry, rebuked Sarmistha, who also became very angry and responded by rebuking Devayani and throwing her into a well. By chance, King Yayāti came to that well to drink water, and he found Devayani and rescued her. Thus Devayani accepted Maharaja Yayāti as her husband. Thereafter, Devayani, crying loudly, told her father about Sarmistha's behavior. Upon hearing of this incident, Sukracharya was very angry and wanted to chastise Vrishaparva, Sarmistha's father. Vrishaparva, however, satisfied Sukracharya by offering Sarmistha as Devayani's maidservant. Thus, Sarmistha, as the maidservant of Devayani, also went to the house of Devayani's husband. When Sarmistha found her friend Devayani with a son, she also desired to have a son. Therefore, at the proper time for conception, she also requested Maharaja Yayāti for sex. When Sarmistha became pregnant also, Devayani was very envious. In great anger, she immediately left for her father's house and told her father everything. Sukracharya again became angry and cursed Maharaja Yayāti to become old, but when Yayāti begged Sukracharya to be merciful to him, Sukracharya gave him the benediction that he could transfer his old age and invalidity to some young man. Yayāti exchanged his old age for the youth of his youngest son, Puru, and thus he was able to enjoy with young girls. Hare Kṛṣṇa Prabhuji, back to you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. So, a lot of wonderful lessons are there in this story, chapter. So, when we go verse by verse, we will discuss those more. Would anyone like to start with the text one? Nandini Mataji wanted to read?
Yes, Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam. Shri Shuka Vacha Yatir Yayāti Sanyati Rayati Viryati Krutihi Shadime Madmahu Nahusha Syanya Indriya Eva Niva Dehinaha. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Shukadeva Goswami said, O King Parikshit, as the embodied soul has 6 senses, King Nahusha had 6 sons, named Yati, Yayati, Samyati, Ayati, Vyati, and Kriti. Very straightforward, and it's very nice that how 6 senses are brought to our attention. And just like that, he has 6 sons, so kind of alluding to the story, which is going to be very sensual. Back to you, Prabhu. Hare Kṛṣṇa.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. So, if you remember, we discussed this point. Who was Nahusha? Anyone remembers? He was the eldest of the sons of Ayu, as discussed in the last chapter. So, besides the 4, we discussed, besides the 1, Nahusha, we discussed the other 4, that is Krishna, Vridha, Raji, Rabha, and Anena. We discussed in the previous chapter, that's chapter 17. But Nahusha's mention is from this chapter onwards. So, okay. So this is basically the same Purava's dynasty. Okay, let's read the next verse. Rajyam naichadyati pitra dattam tad paritramivat yat pravishtaha purusha atmanam navam buddhyate. Atmanam navabudhyate. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. When one enters the post of king or head of the government, one cannot understand the meaning of self-realization. Knowing this, Yati, the eldest son of Nahusha, did not accept the power to rule, although it was offered by his father. Purport: self-realization is the prime objective of the human civilization, and it is regarded seriously by those who are situated in the mode of goodness and have developed the Brahmanical qualities. Kshatriyas are generally endowed with material qualities conducive to gaining material wealth and enjoying sense gratification, but those who are spiritually advanced are not interested in the material opulence. Indeed, they accept only the bare necessities for a life of spiritual advancement in self-realization. It is specifically mentioned here that if one enters political life, especially in the modern day, one loses the chance for human perfection. Nonetheless, one can attain the highest perfection if one hears Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. So powerful. One can attain the highest perfection if one hears Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. The hearing is described as Nityaṁ bhāgavata-sevayā. Maharaj Parikshit was involved in politics, but because at the end of his life, he heard Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. From Shukadeva Goswami, he attained perfection very easily. Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu therefore suggested, Sthane sthita shruti gatam tanuvan manobhir ye prayasho ajita jitopi asita strilokyam. Bhagavatam 10:14-3. Regardless of whether one is in the mode of passion, ignorance, or goodness, if one regularly hears Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam from the self-realized soul, one is freed from the bondage of material involvement. All glories to Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. So nice verse here, that one can attain the highest perfection by hearing Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, and that's why the whole objective of this forum or this group and this Sangha is basically to hear Bhagavatam together, to read Bhagavatam together. These days, the books are the basis, the seminars are going on by a lot of senior Vaishnavas, and practically everyone is recommending that how seriously we should read Srila Prabhupada's books. And practically everyone is recommending what all of you are doing, and that is reading books is especially hard alone. But when we have a group of devotees, like a reading club, reading discussion, etc., it becomes very easy. And it becomes part of our life, which all of you are so nicely doing. So thank you so much. And as I was hearing those lectures, I was thinking of all of you who are helping to reach the Prabhupada's books together. Otherwise, it gets really hard. I can speak for myself. So the point here is, generally, it's hard when one gets into material involvement. Kunti Maharani says, Janma Aishwarya Shruta Shribi Edamana Madapuma Neva Avaharti Avidhatum Vai Tuam Akinchana Gocharam. Person puffed up with wealth, prestige, politics, learning, lot of opulence. It's generally hard for a person to take self-realization, because these material allurements they trap us. When one is in the kingly role, then government, politics, and kingdom, and queens, and administration, this and that, generally it's hard. Therefore, Yati, the eldest son, said, Baba, I don't want to take this responsibility. Quite fit with his name. Yati actually means Yati Naam. One of the names of is Yati Raj, is basically sannyasi, Yati Raj. Yati Naam Dandi Naam Shaiva Nyasi Naam Cha Shiromani. So Yati Naam Shiromani is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. There are different classes of sannyasis or categories of yatis, Dandi Naam, Yati Naam, Dandi Naam, Nyasi Naam. So quite fit with his name that he didn't take to the politics, rather he took to a life of away from this all the in kingly responsibilities. But we don't have to imitate that. Rather, we can't imitate that. Most of us have families, children, husband, wife, etc., parents. We don't have to go to artificially imitate and just give up our home, family, and say, I'm going to imitate. Prabhupada is therefore clarifying and quoting Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu that sthane sthita, whatever our place, whether it's Tampa, whether it's Alachua, whether it's Canada, whether it's New York, whether it's Ambala or Chandigarh or New Delhi, Bombay, Bengal, India, China, Pakistan, one can be Krishna conscious, and whatever situation also, whether one is married, unmarried, 10-year-old, 50-year-old, 30-year-old, male, female, this process of hearing is so powerful that no matter whatever situation one may be in, Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, if one regularly hears Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam from the self-realized soul, that's what we are trying. Read Prabhupada's purports, hearing from Prabhupada, reading, hearing are basically same. one is freed from the bondage of material involvement. Hearing Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, one can attain the highest perfection of life, and that is Krishna Prem. So thank you for providing this wonderful association to achieve the highest perfection of life by reading Prabhupada's books, by being at whatever place, and now thanks to Zoom, right? Otherwise, it would have been hard, right? But Zoom is like a Siddhi in Kali Yuga. Then we can all see each other, we can read the book together, we can even telecast to others who may not be able to join at this point, so they may hear at a later point. So it's amazing, actually. So thank you again for this chance. So Yati did, the eldest son, did not take to the king. That's the verse. Any other comments anyone has? Nandini Mataji, you have a comment or your hand is up? So, Lakshay, you want to read?
Yes, Prabhuji. Text 3. Pitari Brahma Shai Stanat Indranya Darsanat Vijay Prapaite Jagaratvam Vai Yayāti Abhavan Nipa. Translation: because Nahusa, the father of Yayāti, molested Indra's wife Shachi, who then complained to Agastya and other Brahmanas. These saintly Brahmanas cursed Nahusa to fall from the heavenly planets and be degraded to the status of a python. Consequently, Yayāti became the king. Hare Kṛṣṇa, Prabhuji.
Hare Kṛṣṇa. Thank you, Prabhu. So after Yati, who was the next child? Who knows the answer? Yati went to the forest, basically. Yayāti, right? After Yati was Yayāti. So, and the father became a python because of the lust, primarily, we see. Lust basically degrades us to lower species. Classic example here, right? Therefore, it is called Mahashano Mahapapma Vidyenam Ihaverim Kamesha Krodesha Rajoguna Samudbhava. So many verses in Bhagavad Gita talk about lust. So we can learn from these examples that how lust is so powerful that even great kings, these are great kings, who also fall in victim. And probably that's what Yati saw, that right? So that how things are, how a person can be so empowered or overpowered by lust that one can go to such levels. And there are multiple examples in here. So the point is that Yayāti became the next king when Nahusha became a father python. So we will read text 4. Yes, people, you want to read?
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Kṛṣṇa devotees, Dhamma Pranam, all goes to Śrīla Prabhupada, text 4. Chatashrishva Adishat Dikshu Brata Yogi Yasha Rito Daro Jugo Bhim Bhavishya Kabi Asya Vrishapa Vana. Translation by His Divine Grace is Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Śrīla Prabhupada ki Jai. King Yayāti had 4 young brothers whom he allowed to rule the 4 directions. Yayāti himself married Devani, the daughter of Shukracharya, and Sharmishtha. the daughter of Vrishabharva, and ruled the entire earth. So King Yayāti married the daughter of Shukracharya, Devani, and the daughter of Vrishabharva, the Shomishta, and also he engaged his four brothers to rule the four directions, and that way he ruled the entire earth. Back to you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, sorry, I was on mute. So thank you, Prabhuji, for reading. So Yati left the forest. Yayāti was the next king, and then the other four brothers ruled different directions. And remember these names because the story will build up on these few names here. So important to remember these names so that we don't lose context here. So Devyani was the daughter of Shukracharya. Okay. And Sarmishta was the daughter of Vishwaparva. And Vishwaparva was, it will come later, but just to give the context, was a Kshatriya. And Shukracharya was a Brahman. So basically, Sarmishta had the Kshatriya qualities. Devyani was the daughter of Brahmana, Shukracharya. So this will be important later. So let's read the next verse, next number 5. I see Lakshmi Mataji has joined after quite a few days. So we really were deprived of your association. Thank you for joining. Would you like to read?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, devotees. Yes, Prabhuji, thank you. Text 5. Shri Rajo Vacha. Brahma Rishi Bhavan Kavya Shatra Bandhuscha Nahushaha Rajanya Vipraya Kashmat Vivahan Pratilomakaha. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Maharaj Parikshit said, Shukracharya was a very powerful Brahmana and Maharaj Yayāti was a Kshatriya. Therefore, I am curious to know how there occurred this Pratiloma marriage between a Kshatriya and a Brahmana. Purport. According to the Vedic system, marriages between Kshatriya and Kshatriyas or between Brahmana and Brahmanas are the general custom. If marriage sometimes take place between different classes, these marriages are of two types, namely Anuloma and Pratiloma. Anuloma marriage between a Brahmana and a daughter of a Kshatriya is permissible. But Pratiloma marriage between a Kshatriya and the daughter of a Brahmana is not generally allowed. Therefore, Maharaj Parikshit was curious about how Shukracharya, a powerful Brahmana, could accept the principle of Pratiloma. Maharaj Parikshit was eager to know the cause for his uncommon marriage. Back to you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji. So if we go to the previous verse, Shukdev Goswami in just one verse basically sums it up. Yayāti had four brothers or four younger brothers who ruled different directions. Yayāti had two queens, and then they ruled the entire earth. But Parikshit Maharaj knew very well that Yayāti was from the Kshatriya dynasty, and Kshatriya marrying a Brahmana is not the regular custom. So he was curious to know that why and how this marriage happened. Anulom and Pratilom, these two words are used. So basically the Brahmana, a male Brahmana can marry a female Kshatriya. But a male Kshatriya cannot marry a female Brahmana or Brahmana Kula. That's considered Pratilom. So So they can either marry, the male can marry the equal, or Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, so or a step lower. That's the Anulom. But Pratilom is going opposite. So the male cannot marry the up, like that's the point conveyed here. And in multiple other places, this context is there. So if it would not have been for Parikshit Maharaj asking this question, this chapter would have been pretty much similar like last chapter. Correct? With a lot of names, and pretty much in one verse, the chapter is kind of complete. The dynasty is complete. But it is only by the mercy of Parikshit Maharaj that he asks the question so that we can understand and learn great lessons from this story of Yayāti. I see my dear friend Vikas has also joined after a long time. Thank you, Vikas Prabhu. I'm grateful to have your association.
Hare Kṛṣṇa, Prabhuji.
Would you
Yeah, I'll read.
Oh, that'll be great. Please.
Yeah, sure. I'm not sure which text it is, but yeah, I will read out. Shri Shuka Vacha Ekada Danvendrasya Sharmishta Nam Kanyaka Sakhi Sahasram Sanyukta Guru Putracha Chabhamini Devyanya Purudyane Pushpita Drum Sankule Vyachirat Kalagitati Nalini Puline Bala. Translation goes, Shukdev Goswami said, one day Vrishaparva's daughter Sharmishta, who was innocent but angry by nature, was walking with Devyani, the daughter of Shukracharya, and with thousands of friends in the palace garden. The garden was full of lotuses and trees of flowers and fruits, and was inhabited by sweetly singing birds and bumblebees. Hare Kṛṣṇa, Prabhuji.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. So Vishparva was another king, and Sharmishta was the princess. And being a Kshatriya, a lot of opulence is there. So gardens full of lotuses and trees and thousands of others friends. Yeah, all these are signs of opulence. And the passion is also there. So angry by nature, Kshatriya spirit is there, Kshatriya, Kshatrani. So they were having a stroll in the garden, and Devyani was also present. Devyani was daughter of the Guru, Shukracharya, Brahmana. So let's see what happened when this environment was very nice. They were having a nice stroll. So let's see what happens in text 8. Yes, Kirti Mataji, you want to read?
Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam, text 8. Tajalashaya Madha Masatya Kanya Kamala Lochanaha Tire Nasya Dukulani Vijavru Sinchati Mirthaha. Translation by S.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. When the young lotus-eyed girls came to the bank of reservoir of water they wanted to enjoy by bathing. Thus they left their clothing on the bank and began sporting, throwing water on one another. So here is the description of that water reservoir. Prabhupada ji is giving the explanation. Thank you, Prabhu. Back to you.
Thank you. This is quite straightforward. They all went to this water. So let's see what happens further. Text 9. Prabir Prabhu, want to read?
Yeah, Hare Kṛṣṇa Prabhu, Hare Kṛṣṇa devotees, Dandavat Pranam, Jai Śrīla Prabhupada. Text 9. Bhikshya brajantam girisham, shaha devya brisha sthitam, shahasha uttirya vashamshi, paryadhya vridita striya. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Śrīla Prabhupada, Jai Śrīla Prabhupada. While sporting in the water, the girl suddenly saw Lord Shiva passing by, seated on the back of his bull with his wife Parvati. Ashamed because they were naked, the girls quickly got out of the water and covered themselves with their garments. Hare Kṛṣṇa Prabhu, back to you.
Hare Krishna, thank you. So true. Reminds me of the story of Nalkuver and Manigriva, where also the great Mahajan Narad Muni was passing and the girls covered their body, but the two sons of Kuvera didn't cover their bodies. So basically it's a sign of culture, right? Chastity, culture, etc. So quite straightforward. Let's see what happens further. And text number 10. Yes, anyone? Yes, Maswati Mataji, want to read?
Dandavat Pranam, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam, everyone. Text 10. Sarmishtha janati vaso guru putrayaha samabhayayat svivam matva prakupita devayanidam abravit. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. Sarmishtha unknowingly put Devyani's dress on her own body, thus angering Devyani, who then spoke as follows. Back to Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. So, who was Devyani's father?
Shukracharya.
Shukracharya. And was Sarmishta's father?
Vipra Vasa or something.
Rishabharva.
Parva.
He was from the kingly dynasty, and then Devyani, you know, from the Brahmana dynasty. So, quite straightforward. Basically, Sarmishta, the daughter of the king, unknowingly, though it is important here, because all the clothes were there, thousands of clothes were there, and everyone was trying to quickly cover themselves. So unknowingly, the dresses got exchanged. And but Devyani did not like this. So let's see what she spoke to Sarmishta. 11. Swati Mataji, want to read?
Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam. Text 11. Aho nirikshayatam asya dasya karma hi sampratam asmadharyam drithavati sunevaha virat atvare. Translation by Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Prabhupada ki jai. Oh, just see the activities of this servant maid Sharmishta. Disregarding all etiquette, she had put on my dress, just like a dog snatching clarified butter meant for use in a sacrifice. Thank you, Prabhuji. Krishna.
Hare Krishna. It's quite harsh words. Devyani is speaking for the unknown. No mistake happened. Okay, it was unwilling and intended mistake. But Devyani didn't really like this. So Devyani, Shukracharya was the guru of Vishnu Parva. So the tendency to feel I am better is very, very deep rooted. The tendency that I owe others, basically Devyani is telling Sarmishta that you are like a dog, correct? That's a metaphor used here. Like a dog steals the ghee which is meant for sacrifice, you are stealing my dress, like a dog, in short. So quite harsh words used here. And let's see what happens further. Text 12 to 14 all together. Kashish Mataji, you want to read?
Ji Prabhuji, thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, all devotees, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Text number 12 to 14. Yeridam tapasa shrishtam mukham punsah parasyaye dharyate yerirah jyotir shivah pantha pradarshitah yana vandatyat patishtante lokanatha sureshwara Bhagwan api vishwatma pavanah Śrī Caitanya vayam tatrapi bhrigavah shishyo asyana pitasuraha asmardharyam tritavati shudro vedam ivasati. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. We are among the qualified Brahmanas who were accepted as the face of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Brahmanas have created the entire universe by their austerity, and they always keep the absolute truth within the core of their hearts. They have directed the path of good fortune, the path of Vedic civilization, and because they are the only worshipable objects within this world, they are offered prayers and worshipped even by the great demigods, the directors of the various planets, and even by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Super Soul, and the Supreme Purifier, and the husband of the Goddess of Fortune. And we are even more respectable because we are in the dynasty of Phrigu. Yet, although this woman's father, being among the demons, is our disciple, she has put on my dress exactly like a Shudra, taking charge of Vedic knowledge. Back to you, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Wow, this is something heavy. Devyani, yes, she is from the Brahmana Kula. But a real Brahmana never demands respect. Basically, she is demanding here respect. Oh, we are great. We are the face of the Supreme Lord. We are the most worshipable object in the three worlds. We are even greater than the demigods. We are this, we are that. I, me, and mine, or me, my kula. So commanding respect, a great soul, a real Brahmana, does not do so. But it was a small incident. The quality of Brahmana is forgiveness. Even if Sarmishta or accidentally wore, but it was not that big of a mistake. But she's telling her, like, you're like a dog, you are like a Shudra, taking charge of Vedic knowledge. So in short, in different harsh words, she is chastising or ridiculing her of the accidental mistake she did of wearing the dress of Devyani. Another important point which is coming to my mind, that we can use scriptures to justify our acts. Right? Scriptures also mention that the foremost quality of Brahmana is forgiveness, right? Devyani didn't say at that point, okay, we are Brahmanas, you're supposed to be forgiving. It's okay, you wore, I will wear some other dress, that's fine. It's not a big deal. Or I can wear yours, or sometimes fights can happen on small things. What to speak of this yuga where this fight is happening. Kali Yuga is especially known for that, because Kali Yuga is the age of quarrel. Every small thing, salt in the dal can lead to fight. the grass of neighbor's grass, or a paper, a trash piece of paper can lead to a big fight. And I'm not exaggerating. This is in the news few days or some time back. A neighbor the old mattress was there. In US, the homes are a little spread apart, not like India, one next to the other. There is gap between the homes. So there is sufficient space, common space, etc. So the mattress was lying outside the door for the waste management to pick old mattress, and it was few inches on the neighbor's side. Few inches. Like 90% it was on the owner's side, but maybe 10% was overhanging, and the neighbor didn't like it. It led to a verbal fight, physical fight, and gunfight, and then one ended up killing the other. This is a real story. So fights can happen upon this. Therefore, tolerance is very important, and forgiveness is very important, and understanding. So in every relationship, then only relationships will be smoother and better. So we can learn from this that forgiveness, tolerance are the core principles of relationship. Let's see what happens further. Next 15. Okay, man. Prabhu, interview.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Hare Krishna devotees, Dandavat Pranam. All glories to Prabhupada. Evam Shipantin Sharmishta Guru Putrim Avasata Rusha Shavashanti Urangiva Dharista Dasta Dachada. Translation by His Divine Grace, Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Shukdev Goswami said, when thus revoked in cruel words, Sharmishta was very angry, breathing heavily like a serpent, biting her lower lip with her teeth. She spoke to the daughter of Shukracharya as follows. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, back to you.
Hare Krishna. So Sharmishta was Kshatriya blood. Right. Like Dhruv Maharaj, breathing heavily like a serpent. Similar words are used, like when you put a leg on when a serpent is harmed, is breathing heavily and very red hot. So, and biting her lower lip with her teeth, like this. Krishna also does that in Damodar Leela, actually. And he was also very angry, because his anger is transcendental anger. The acharyas also give a purport there that the lip represents red. Lips are red in color. Teeth are white in color. Anger is red. Anger is red hot. Why are you so red hot? So, but teeth is white. White is peace, passion. Goodness. So, which shows that passion can be overcome by goodness. So Krishna showed by even him getting angry is also teaching us a lesson to overcome anger. so transcendental are the pastimes of the Supreme Lord. But if an ordinary person gets angry, then it's anger only. So, Sharmishta, here we see typical example of tit for tat. Bhagavatam gives multiple examples. Bhagavatam shows tit for tat also, and what happens. The outcome is never good. And Bhagavatam also shows tolerate that. There's a nice lecture by Alishan Prabhu, tit for tat or tolerate that. We should, if someone is angry upon us, and we are angry upon them, then it will never work. Recently, Grace Radharani Mataji gave a class on relationships. She said a very nice thing, that husband and wife, or any relationship, brother and brother, brother and sister, god brother, whatever, any relationship, mother, father, both should not get angry at the same time. If one is angry, the other has to tolerate. If both get angry, it's a classic example, both getting angry, there will never be a good outcome. So Devyani was already very angry, and now Sarmishta, Kshatriya blood, is also very angry. And then let's see what she spoke. 16 was not yet read. Anyone wants to read? Punah Mataji, you want to read? Are you in a position?
Hare Kṛṣṇa Prabhuji, yes. Dandavat Pranam everyone. Text 16. Atmavritamabhigyaya kathase bahuvikshukri kina pratisesmakam grihanam balibhuje yatha. Translation and purport by Prabhupada. You beggar, since you don't understand your position, why should you unnecessarily talk so much? Don't tell all of you wait at your house depending on us for your livelihood like crows. Purport. Crows, can you scroll? Thank you. Crows have no independent life. They fully depend on the remnants of foodstuff thrown by householders in the garbage tank. Therefore, because a Brahmana depends on his disciple, when Sarmistha was heavily rebuked by Devyani, she charged Devyani with belonging to a family of crow-like beggars. It is the nature of the woman to fight verbally at even a slight provocation. As we see from this incident, this has been their nature for a long, long time. Back to you, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Hare Kṛṣṇa. Thank you, Mataji. So, tit for tat. She spoke harsh words. Devyani spoke harsh words to Sarmishta. Sarmishta said, "You are a beggar. You don't know your position. We feed you." Right? The Kshatriyas are the ruling class. And you are like a crow. We throw pieces at you and then you take. So, Bali Bhujaha, that's the word used for crow, like Bali Bhujaha, who eat the remnants or the foodstuffs thrown by the, so basically like the trash into the garbage tank. And we see so many crows in India outside the garbage tank or the garbage collection area. In an ideal example is seen at the, where the Kshatriya feels that I am helpless or I am dependent on the Brahmana. And the Brahmana feels, well, I'm dependent on the Kshatriya or others. This is the real good culture of interdependence. But in the topsy-turvy culture, where passion is dominant, where, I'm the best, ahankara vimūಢātma-kartāviti manyate, I'm running the show. If Kshatriyas are not there, what will Brahmanas do? The Brahmanas think if Brahmanas are not there, what will Kshatriyas do? So in a community also, it's a nice lesson. Now, it could not be a fight between Brahmana and Kshatriya here, or Devyani and Sarmishta. In a community also, it is important to understand and appreciate everyone's contribution. So no one should feel that actually I am running the show. If I'm not there, then what will X, Y, Z do? And the X will feel, if I'm not there, what will the Y and Z do? Rather, it should be opposite. That I'm so grateful that because of all the community members, I'm able to get some chance to serve. Without them, I'm nothing. So the culture of interdependence is Vedic culture. The culture of independence is the Kali Yuga mentality. Independence. I want independence. The reason we are here in the material world because we want to be independent enjoyers. We want to enjoy separate from Krishna. So that will only lead to fights. And that's what we see, Kali Yuga. Everyone is fighting, so many UN, World Health, and this and that. But in Prabhupada's society, we see the culture of interdependence. Like in the temple, there are so many sevas, kirtan, cleaning the temple, cooking for the deities, deity worship, making garland for the deities, cleaning the dishes, mowing the lawn, coordination of the event, fundraising, and festivals, coordination, and kids classes, adult classes, and planning for the future, and calendars and websites and whatnot, social media and book distribution, shard distribution, preaching to young, old, so many communities. There are devotee care, endless services are there. And each one is interdependent on the other, right? Can there be a temple without the deities? No. Can there be temple without the kirtan? No. Can there be temple without the prasadam? Can there be temple without the devotees? Can there be temple without proper cleaning? Can there be temple without proper reading of Prabhupada's book? So everything is important. And they're all like the flowers, the different flowers around the wave or woven around the threads, the string or the thread of Krishna consciousness, loving and devotion, love and devotion. So we should not feel that I am independent or I don't need others, or that will lead to wrong mentality. And here that's what we see, that I am doing this for you. And the other person is saying, I am doing this for you. So basically both are thinking I'm the best. And in that situation, when both are up at this level or thinking that both are great, and no communication can happen there, no resolution can happen, no good things will come out of there. Only worse will come out from that situation. So one last verse and then we'll pause. Take 17 was not yet read. Anyone?
I can read. Hare Kṛṣṇa.
Yeah, please.
Hare Kṛṣṇa devotees, then Pranam, all praise to Śrī Prabhupada. Text number 17. Evam vidvi supra ksipatva sutam satam sarmistha prakshite kupe vasaschadaya manyanu. No. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Using such unkind words, Sharmista rebuked Devayani, the daughter of Shukracharya. In anger, she took away Devayani's garments and threw Devayani into a well. So, Hare Krishna Prabhuji. So here we can see that, as you mentioned, Sharmista was feeling very proud, and she threw away the garments into the. Took the garments and threw Devayani into the well. Thank you. Please explain that.
Watch your thoughts, because thoughts turn into words. Watch your words, because words manifest in action, right? So words leading to actions. First, it was just a verbal fight, right? Verbal fight, when not checked, will lead to fist fight. That's exactly what happened, right? First, they were calling, hey, you are a crow, hey, you are a dog, you are this, you are that. No one did a pause, and then it led to a physical fight. Devayani, Brahmana, Kul, Samishta, Kshatriya Kul, so a little more stronger, threw Devayani in the well. So therefore, all these lust, anger, greed, the more we let them fructify, the harder it will be to control. A fight in the thoughts. Let's say we have an angry thought on someone. Okay, all of you don't have, just a hypothetical situation. If you control at that stage, there are different ways, and not let it manifest through words, it will be easy to control. But if you let loose and let it express through words, words once spoken cannot be retraced back. So therefore, bad mood should not be mixed with bad words. It's a great lesson. Because bad mood can be changed later, but bad words once spoken cannot be changed. Actually, it's so interesting that I was hearing a class by His Grace Nityaṁ Prabhu and Rukmini Mataji about fighting. And I turned down the volume. You may have seen how to fight and win. You must be wondering what is he watching. It was actually a class by Rukmini Mataji and Nityaṁ Prabhu, who are coming next weekend, and coming the following weekend. So I thought to let me hear the nectar right there, this mouth. They were sharing a lot of wonderful lessons about relationships, fighting, etc., to fight, etc., and not to fight. Very, very practical, right? And we see that here is a classic example of fight, verbal fight and physical fight. So Devayani is in the well now. So Mishra took the clothes. We will pause here and continue tomorrow with the next verse and see what happens from this point. But we can reflect upon how I can absorb some lessons and how I can control my anger, and when situations like these come, how we can remember Bhagavatam and control our passion and anger by higher modes. Okay, so Canto Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam Purana ki jai, Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai, Samaveta Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki jai. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripasindubhyaiva cha patitānaṁ pāvanebhyo Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.